This YouTuber called NeverNotJune actually blocked me. He shadow banned me in his comments, so whenever I try to leave a comment under his video, it can't be seen. But yeah, I'm just gonna respond to this video with poor quality and just give my thoughts on it because I listened to bits of this video because I actually agree with some parts, but then he says some stuff that's really stupid, and I'm just gonna express it here because he can't shadow ban this video.
I'm a massive Resident Evil fan, but with that being said, apparently just liking Resident Evil isn't enough anymore.
So there are already some big things I don't like about this video. First off, the use of static shock editing. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know why certain analysis people do that. The YouTuber called man carrying a thing. He pointed out how people only do it to look smart, and it's a pretty funny joke. Another issue I have with this video is him doing that whole subscriber thumb up pop up thing. I hate when YouTubers do that. Like you're just really desperate for subscribers and likes, and that's pretty sad. Like you really want to have some sort of validation or internet good points. Like if I'm gonna like your video, I'm gonna like it on my own free will, not because you e-begged for it.
Games, and with that being said, apparently just liking Resident Evil isn't enough anymore. You have to like the right games in the right order with the right opinion.
Who said that? Who's forcing anyone to like anything when it comes to Resident Evil games? Is if I play a certain Resident Evil game, is someone going to magically pop up behind me with a gun and aim it at my face and say, hey, you better like this game or you better have this opinion? Who's going around saying that? I feel like you shouldn't let the internet dictate what you like and dislike. That's pretty sad. Now, the video is called Why Resident Evil Fans Are So Insufferable, and I do agree with that. Resident Evil fans can be pretty insufferable, but they're pretty much just like every other fan base on the internet. Or, at least every other fan base that has that's in the mainstream.
Or some dude with a fucking hentai Ashley Graham profile picture starts acting like.
So this is another big problem I have with this video is that he censors himself. Like grow a pair, say real words, If you don't want to use real words, then don't bother using them. When you censor yourself, you sound very gay and stupid, in my opinion.
Goddamn Raccoon City Border Patrol. Look, I didn't.
Okay, so I used a comment that offended him. Uh, I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't let comments or tweets get to you.
Haircuts, but here's my fuck up number one. I made a video ranking the games I had played at that point, and I posted on Reddit about it, trying to get some eyes on the video.
Well, that was your big mistake. Why would you go to Reddit? Reddit hates everything. It's probably the most whiny entitled website ever. Going to a video or going to Reddit to get some views for a video, that's so desperate. I managed to get a lot of views for my small channel anyway, and I didn't have to rely on Reddit at all. Because when it comes to YouTube, it's a game of RNG. Basically, you're gonna either make a video that's gonna get some views or you're not. What was the video that he posted on Reddit?
For bioterrorism and age-inappropriate haircuts. But here's my fuck up number one. I made a video ranking the game.
Let's see. Are the Resident Evil remakes actually good? And he says this is a ranking video. Well, first of all, you didn't really make that very clear based off the title of the video. Also, 52 minutes long. Most people aren't going to sit through a 52-minute long video. That's just the facts. Let's see. Yeah, the Resident Evil remake's actually good. That's a stupid question because it's subjective, but the vast majority of people, based off of sales and reviews and stuff like Metacritic and Steam with those reviews on those sites. Yeah, there's a general consensus that the Resident Evil remakes are good. Some people consider them great. My views on Resident Evil, I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan. Um, you know, like my favorite Resident Evil is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I don't see Resident Evil 4 as the second coming of Christ. And I played the original Resident Evil 2 when it came to the PS5, and I thought it was all right. I played better PS1 games like Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 9. And I actually prefer the Resident Evil 2 remake because, yes, even though the story is not as good, quote unquote, it is way more scary and fun gameplay wise. And yeah, overall, I think Resident Evil is fine. I still need to play the first one because I hear that one's scary too, but it's fine.
I played at that point. And And while I didn't get any overwhelming hate at that point, I did get comments akin to, you can't rank the games without playing the OGs, or your opinion doesn't mean much without playing the OGs.
This man dedicated a 40-minute video over some random people opinions on Reddit.
And I thought, foolishly, that finishing games meant I was allowed to talk about them. Me, right? Now I just chalk this up to Reddit being
You can talk about whatever you want. Why are you letting Reddit dictate what you say? That's really sad.
land of opinionated neckbeards with a screen time of 40 hours on the app. So I just went about my merry way, digging into the lore, watching gameplays.
I don't know if you can really be calling other people neckbeards. You went out of your way to use Reddit. Anyway, I'm just going to skip to the parts where I find interesting.
I saw other takes that were a bit more polarizing. See, I noticed the rhetoric. The rhetoric being that the remakes are just some terrible, soulless slop.
All right, so let's look at these other rhetorics. So here's some clarification. The Resident Evil 4 remake, I like it by the way, but that game not only sold like 10 million copies, almost more than the original, if not already, but it had a lot of positive feedback as well from user reviews and not just game journalists. But let's look at this rhetoric here. We got this one post that has 0 upvotes and 43 comments. And then we got this random tweet from someone with a Asian style name. And then we got that Crobe Cat video that also has a lot of dislikes. I mean, yeah, there's Crobe Cat. I know, I don't agree with Crobe Cat either. He actually shadow banned me as well, but who cares? And look at this one. Look at this. He's bringing up a post from 3 years ago. It's 2026. You're letting this post from 3 years ago bother you? Oh, right. RE4 does feel a little soulless sometimes. Well, that's just his opinion. You don't... Come on now. This is 3 years old. The whole Resident Evil soulless drama... Oh my goodness, it's pretty old now, you know? Even Crobe Cat's new video about RE4 didn't really net him that many views compared to other Crobe Cat videos. That's because the drama and conversation has already been milked to death. And I feel like Crobe Cat should just go back to focusing on other games. But hey, if he wants to make a Resident Evil 4 remake bad video, let him. Look at this one. There's this other post from the year 2024. Why are you bitching about these old posts that are like older, that are so old? Like, move on.
Interpretations of the originals, and that playing them mean that the remakes are just some terrible, soulless slop interpretations of the originals.
The rhetoric is actually mostly positive. I mean, doesn't have like a 90 plus positive score on Steam. You know, Resident Evil 4 remake got more positive feedback than many of my favorite games. Like, that game got way more positive feedback than Chrono Trigger. Most gamers don't know about Chrono Trigger. And definitely Chrono Cross.
Play them. Well, are the originals like these bastions of gaming? Hell, even smaller, bastions of Resident Evil? No. Fuck no. The original titles up to RE4 original are cinematic.
Okay, what was that smug thing he just edited in? Hold on, let's go back.
These games aren't worth the time.
Look, I agree these older titles are amazing. Downright spectacular even. I played and loved their...
He's doing that whole subscribe to my channel thing too. Like, stop it. That's very gay and insecure of you.
Original RE2, and I encourage any fan to go back and play them. But are the originals like these bastions of gaming?
Well, I played the original games, RE2 and RE3, when they came to PS5, and I was like, yeah, these games are pretty impressive, you know, when it comes to detail. You know, they were very ahead of their time.
Hell, even smaller, bastions of Resident Evil? No. Fuck no.
My subjective opinion. I like how you had to put my subjective opinion in there, like a total pussy.
The original titles up to RE4 original are cinematic. They're clunky. They're not...
Well, what do you expect from a PS1 game? What are you talking about? They're pretty cinematic for a PS1 game. I can definitely tell you that. I mean, how old are you? You sound like someone who grew up around the Fortnite era.
They're clunky, they're not scary, and they're very much wearing their crow's feet and smile lines on their box arts. The creator brings up the point that general audiences, and even devs, view the remakes as essentially replacements for the original games. And look, that may be the case, but if you're letting that affect your view of the games, that's strictly a you issue.
Alright, weren't you the one that just brought up a bunch of Twitter posts and Reddit posts or whatever, you know, that got to you? Yet you're telling other people not to let the internet get to them. And if that's the case, why even bother listening to you? Anyway, massive hypocrite take right there. Total low IQ moment.
You have to think for yourselves and not let the internet decide what your opinion should be.
Right. you're right. You shouldn't let the internet decide what your opinion should be, and I'm going to decide not to listen to your opinion. Never not June. Complete trash copium take right here. Getting upset over Twitter posts and Reddit posts that are like years old. Like, move on. Like, go submit a job application, nigga. Never not June. You got some nice camera footage and some nice editing, but your takes are pretty dim-witted and dumb, so it kind of makes all the effort you put into your videos not worth it. What I would suggest that you do is go sign yourself up to your local monkey zoo, and maybe offer up your brain to science. You know, I feel like that would be a better use of your time and free will than making copium Resident Evil videos and getting mad at Reddit.